Alright, you guys asked for it, so here it is. We're back again with another MGSV challenge run. Today's challenge was suggested to me on Discord by one of my moderators, Suck, a while ago. Thanks for the suggestion. So for the challenge, I'll be trying to beat the Jarhead challenge on MGSV. Now, what are the rules for the run? Well, I'm basically trying to beat the game as an average member of Diamond Dogs instead of Big Boss, so I have to beat every main story mission in the game while keeping my deployment cost under 10,000 GMP and my support cost under 30,000 GMP, since an average soldier in the PMC wouldn't have access to all of its resources like the leader would. I can't use any equipment that lowers rank, partially for a real challenge, and partially because a grunt wouldn't have access to that level of equipment. I can't play as Big Boss or use the Parasite suit, the Cyborg Ninja suit, or the Raiden suit, again for more of a challenge, and also because I have to be an average soldier as opposed to a Skull soldier or any of the other legendary soldiers. I can deploy with a 4-wheel drive, but I never did. I can only use D-Horse as my buddy, since every other buddy is either expensive or attached to Venom personally. I can use whatever equipment I want, save for parasites and wormhole Fultons. I always have to deploy ASAP, since a lowly stooge doesn't get to pick when he's deployed. And finally, I can't call in resupplies, I can't call in new buddies while on the field, I can't request artillery, and I am allowed to signal P-Quad for pickup or fire support. I think that about covers the rules, so let's just get to the fun part. Starting with Phantom Limbs, of course. I picked Blue Salamander as my character, my combat unit member with the lowest combat rating. I give him the 3-star sneaking suit because the 5-star lowers the mission rank. I load him up with the 1-star SVG-76, the 1-star Renov ICKX-SR, and the 1-star Wu S-pistol. I remove the stealth camo from the Grey Fox run, and I make sure to set the sneak suit to 3 stars, putting me at 8,720 deployment cost, about 1,000 short of the 10k limit. Now, I do bring the wormhole Fulton with me on this mission, but I never used it, so I didn't count it against myself and would fix that mistake in the next mission. I make sure to skip the opening cutscene since it has nothing to do with me, and ride D-Horse into the first outpost, where I drop both guards with my SVG. Then I ride up to the main camp and take out everyone that spots me with my SVG, and I get the intel file. I see a truck nearby, so I take out the owner and drive it until I get to the nearby outpost with the road blocked off. At which point I just get out, use the runoff to take this guy out before he spots me, take out a patrol that spots me riding to the Miller camp, take out the lookout at Miller's holding area, and then I get Miller to the extraction point and get ambushed by the Skulls. While riding away from the Skulls to the new LZ, let me explain why my approach so far is a bit forward and haphazard. Basically, since I'm playing as a normal, less experienced soldier as opposed to someone like Big Boss, I tried to go about this not quite as stealthily or as efficiently as someone on that level, which was a fun change in gameplay from the norm. Well, now I'm on to a hero's way, where I get rid of the wormhole Fulton, add some more equipment with the deploy cost money I gained from doing that, switch to Amber Fox since she's a better fighter than Blue Salamander, and because I wanted to try out a couple of different combat ranks to see the difference, and I gave her the battle suit instead of the sneaking suit, though I honestly don't know why, as I just used my runoff to snipe the commander like I always do, and then I just exfiltrated. For C2W, I decided to try and be a little more brazen, maybe get some use out of the battlesuit. Unfortunately, I guess I'm just too good, as, short of going out of my way to get caught, I just snipe anyone that spots me, use grenades to pop the comms equipment, and then exfil on a cargo extraction. For Over the Fence, the only change I make is that I'm some guy named Creeping Octopus now. I ride D-Horse straight into Waxen Barracks, practically begging to make use of my schmancy battlesuit, but I easily dispatch everyone that sees me riding right into a Soviet camp. I do have a bit of a scare when I go to get the prosthetics doctor, and there's a guy in there more decked out in armor than even I am, but I just CQC him and his buddy, and extract the doctor and get out of there right before they wake up. After that, I Fulton him and basically myself, and that's another mission done. We're breezing through this challenge so far. Next up is going to be the first of the tougher, more story-driven missions with cutscenes and stuff like that. Where do the bees sleep? The only change I make in prep is that I swap to one charging mammoth and set out. I try to blow up this tower on my way to Desamase and create a distraction so that I can just ride by, but I get spotted, so I just ride away. The first outpost is a little tougher because there are so many people here, some with armor and heavy weapons, but after a couple of attempts to get across the bridge with as little stealth and as much head-on, full frontal, full throttle collision as possible, I gunned down all the Soviets on the other side of the bridge, Fultoned the mute guy, and drove out of there on a commandeered 4-wheel drive. After then crashing it into an oncoming patrol, I sniped anyone else that spotted me or would have spotted me on my way to Desamase, sprinted there, gunned my way into the fort, got the honeybee, and snuck out to face the skulls in a proper fight. As you could guess, with the battlesuit keeping me alive, I basically spent most of the fight standing out in the open and gunning them down with the SVG. Unfortunately, towards the end, I ran out of ammo, didn't want to use the honeybee ammo, and brought a non-lethal pistol as my secondary, but I brought grenades with me, luckily, so I just blew up the last couple of skulls and exfilled from the hot zone. Double unfortunately, I went way over the 30 grand support cost limit because the game forcibly called in my souped up chopper, so I had to do the entire mission all over again. No worries though, as this time, I just played it stealthily and tactically with my sneaking suit and a 3-star Wu S pistol, and it was easy. I got caught in a compromising position once, but after that one goof, I used my tranq pistol to knock out the Soviets holding the mute Mujahideen, I Fultoned him, I snuck in and out of Desamase while tranking anyone that spotted me, and then, when it came to the skulls fight, as someone in the comments of one of my MGS videos informed me I could do, I simply just ran away. I ran from the fight and exfiltrated, clearing the mission, this time within the challenge rules. Onto Red Brass, I changed to another member of the PMC and just decided to forget about swapping between the sneaking suit and battlesuit altogether and just put on my cool Naked Snake fatigues. As for my loadout, I just went with a 4-star SVG-67, the 5-star armor-piercing Wu S pistol, and didn't bother to bring a second primary weapon, as I've basically got all the coverage I need, a medium-range lethal weapon and a short-range non-lethal armor-piercing weapon. For this mission, I just decided to play it out as it happened, so I killed everyone in Violo Village with my SVG-67, ran up the road to the next red cap since they called off the meeting at Violo Village, almost got spotted by him because he's a sniper, but was actually able to find him and kill him immediately specifically because he was the only one to spot me and I just killed him in reflex mode. And then I drove all the way back down the road through Violo Village on a 4-wheel that I assume belonged to the red cap I just took out, and I just gunned down everyone in Shago Village until I eventually found the red cap and took him out, finishing the mission. I left the hot zone by land, but I didn't want to use the same loadout for the next mission since it involved destroying tanks and I really didn't have any explosives, so I exfilled by chopper and gave myself a 4-star Grom 11 RPG. For occupation forces, I honestly just snuck my way through Sakura Village with my AP Wu S pistol, got the intel file, blew up the first tank, the commander's truck, and the second tank with my Grom 11, and then exfilled. For back up, back down, since the entire mission is just blowing up armored vehicles, I just took the 5-star FB-MRR launcher and camped the exit. For Angel with Broken Wings, I loaded up with the SVG-76U, the Renov ICKX TP, and the Wu S Pistol 9, but I wouldn't really be able to take advantage of these weapons for this mission, well, not successfully anyways. I tried using the Trank Sniper in an initial attempt, but the noise spooked the prisoner convoy and I didn't want to chase them down, so I started over. On the winning run, I stopped the convoy with a cardboard box, Fultoned the AV, used grenades to knock the helmet off of the armored soldier, and then domed him and rescued Angel. Now on to Cloaked in Silence, the boss battle against Quiet, where I would very much get the opportunity to fully utilize my Trank Sniper. She lands a good shot on me to start, and I miss my return fire, but I nail her twice in a row right after, and though I nearly get killed by falling for this rainbow distraction bait, I'm able to find her and hit her with a mean hit, then taking her out in the very next shot. What happens to her from there is above my pay grade, I'll leave that to the boss, but as for me, I'm off to rescue Emmerich while dressed as the boss. maybe my first time ever even using this suit, and also maybe hinting to the boss run you guys keep asking for. I definitely don't play like the boss though, as I do take out this one guy with my silenced pistol, but then get spotted and immediately just sprint out of the base camp. I almost get killed right outside, but luckily the SVG-76U is a lead-spitting machine and guns down my attackers fast enough to give me time to heal and escape from the pursuing enemy forces. While on my way to save Emmerich, it also saved me again when the soldiers guarding the cargo crate on the way spotted me, but I dropped them all before they could get a combat alert out. The Afghanistan Central Base Camp is a little too well fortified for the forward assault approach, so I snuck my way through to Emmerich using my silenced pistol to drop anyone that spotted me along the way, used his walker gear to bust out of their action movie style, and then I ran and hid from Sahelanthropus until I could escape. For my first mission in Central Africa, I kept the same loadout since it had been doing so well at this point, but it didn't have any reliable non-lethal options to take out the kids in the initial camp. The sniper wouldn't have been fast enough to take them all out without getting a combat alert anyway, so I just rode straight through. When I got to Mafinda, I used my 76U to drop a lookout that spotted me. I crawled through this pipe to breach the compound, took out everyone that spotted me with the silenced pistol as usual since I drew attention to the front of the base with my SVG, but I didn't want them to know that I was already inside, and then I snuck up and turned off the water pump. I was a little worried about blowing up the tank, specifically if I even could with my current loadout, but after clearing out all the nearby soldiers, I just tossed a handful of grenades and that did the trick. They called in the walker gears, but I just snuck right past them and got out of there. Next up was Lingua franca, where you have to rescue the Viscount, so, expecting more of a fight for this one, at least potentially since I had no plans of following the interpreter the entire time, I swapped my 76U for a 67U, I got the M2000D, a beast of a sniper rifle, and I swapped my Wu out for the AMD-114, old reliable. At first, everything was business as usual. I followed the guys at Kaziba Camp and used my AMD-114 to kill the guy guarding the prisoner since it's, of course, silenced. And I followed the other two guys to the next prisoner, but I guess I got a little too close to them because they maybe heard me and started looking for me. I avoided being spotted, and it actually worked out for me since the interpreter just left so I could kill the guard and rescue the prisoner. Finally, while my initial attempt to save the last prisoner messed up because this guy spotted me but didn't activate reflex mode for some reason, which threw me off and got me spotted, my second attempt went much better and I was able to get this intel file, kill this guy with the D-114 before he raised a combat alert, shoot the interpreter with the D-114 enough to injure but not kill him when he almost got me found out, take out everyone else nearby with the 67U and Fulton the interpreter for more info, and then I snuck out of the camp over to the Viscount, killed his guard, and rescued him. Next was Footprint of Phantoms, where I've got to take out some walker gears, so I just got the FB-MRR Launcher Mark II, a rocket launcher even stronger than the one I was using to blow up tanks earlier in the run. I ran to the top of this mountain, and I just nuked the entire camp, including accidentally killing a prisoner, but also all of the walker gears. Trader's Caravan was another quick and simple mission. I just snuck around to the back of Nova Braga while the truck was still there, Fultoned the truck, and then fought the skulls. My strategy was pretty simple. Since I've mastered fighting these guys after the last run as Grey Fox, where I fought all the skulls only using CQC, I would wait to counter their attacks with CQC, and then proceed to use my 67U, a gun with a decent mag size and an incredible rate of fire, and I would just dump my entire 30-round mag right into their center mass at point-blank range. Granted, while I took out one and heavily damaged the other three with this strategy, I definitely didn't have the ammo to beat all four of them, so I used up the rest of my ammo, then I swapped to my M2000D since, while it's single shot and doesn't have a ton of ammo, it hits really hard. I was able to take out another one with the same strategy, but the M2000 ran out of ammo quick, so I had to try to finish them off with my D-114, which isn't weak at all, but isn't meant for combat against bosses. I'm able to take out the third one, but I run out of the last of my ammo against the last one, though he was really weak after I ran out of ammo, so I was able to finish him off with just CQC. Rescuing the two intel agents was comparatively just as simple, but with much less effort needed. I swapped to the PG-76, Ready to just cut through everyone from here on out like that one scene from the OG Predator movie, I grabbed the non-lethal version of the M2000 in case I needed a non-lethal or ranged option with a little more finesse, and I stuck with the D114, but went with the better D114-9. First, I took out a couple of guys in the small side camp area with the PG to attract attention, then I saved the guy in the jungle first since you can just Fulton him, and took out everyone that spotted me on the way to the main Kaziba camp with the D114-9, and then I saved the last intel guy and extracted him by chopper. I don't really have to change my loadout for Blood Runs Deep, since my non-lethal M2000 will allow me to knock out the kiddos for Fulton extraction, so I run into Bump Heavy Plantation, gun down pretty much everyone there with the PG-76, including the target, then barely survive running from a gunship and a tank by the skin of my short pants not once but twice, and beyond that I just tore through Kungenga Mine with my PG and tranked the kids for extraction, and though I very nearly got caught at the last second while attempting to exfiltrate, the PG's always got my back. Now onto On the Trail, where I've got to take out the Major. I decided to extract the Major since that's a special side objective that I don't think I've ever completed, so I just head over to where he's supposed to meet the guys, snipe him with the M2000, use my AM-114 LB-45 to take out the entire group of guards, this kind of power being the whole reason I bumped up from the D114-9, and I nabbed the Major and fled the hot zone with one of his own vehicles right before the other guys arrived for the meeting. By the way, when I make certain swaps in my loadout due to maybe wanting to focus on a certain weapon, like a rocket launcher for an armored vehicle mission, or a sniper for an assassination mission, or a tranq weapon for a mission where I'd need it, I typically try to go for the highest star rating and just lower the rank of the other weapons I'm using to balance the cost and keep it below 10k. I know I haven't really mentioned the balancing act much at this point, but it's not too hard if you're willing to lower or increase the rank of your weapons as needed. If I want a balanced loadout, I just use 2 or 3 star versions of all 3 weapons, and rarely in the run did I even bother using general equipment like explosives or whatever. If it seems like I'm constantly swapping weapons and equipment throughout the run, that's why. I'm trying to balance deployment GMP cost while also trying to use better weapons or weapons more suited for the mission. Speaking of, for voices, I really only make one minor change and one important change. I swap my M2000 for a Bambatov SV for a fully lethal loadout, and I swap my LB-45 handgun for a water pistol. Yeah, I'm gonna be fighting Volgan this time. First, of course, I basically just run into the snake's mouth and gun down everyone in the camp with my PG-67 while they're basically powerless to stop me. Then I take out the guys at the outpost and all the guys in the Misty Valley. Luckily I crunched the numbers enough to get night vision goggles specifically for this section. And then it was time to face Volgan. I don't know why, but I don't remember the water pistol being this good against him. It was weird. Like, I beat him once in a couple seconds, and then again easily before exfiltrating. Oh, also, I know it's a side objective to shoot Psycho Mantis on this mission, but I'd never seen him until now, even though I've had this game for as long as Venom was in a coma for. For the mission to eliminate the CFA official, I kept everything the same for my loadout, except of course I swapped the water gun for the LB-45 again. By the way, I asked you guys recently if I should make a Twitter account, and most of you said you weren't really interested. So I made one anyways. Some of you also suggested I make a Blue Sky account. I'll probably have that ready for the next video if I do end up making one, but go ahead and follow me on Twitter so that you guys can interact with me a little easier and see what I'm up to if you're interested. I'm not really big on social media, but I considered that I should probably make the effort, both to better interact with the community, and because I've been informed that having socials is the, quote, YouTuber thing to do, so I guess I gotta do that now. Link in the description. Okay, back to the run. Alright, so this mission was an easy one since all I had to do was sneak into Nova Braga, gun down the official with my LB-45, then Fulton out. But retake the platform was definitely just as tough as normal. My original plan of sneaking around using the silenced LB-9 handgun didn't exactly iron out since I got caught saving some of my captured soldiers. So in my second attempt, I naturally just did it again, but better. I just snuck from platform to platform and took out everyone in my path with the LB-9, saved my guys, continued to take out the bad guys until I got to the central platform, at which point I ran out of silencer uses, but at that point, it was already too late for them to catch me because I took out their leader. Since the White Mamba mission is just against kids, I decided to retire my current loadout in favor of a completely non-lethal one. using the non-lethal UN ARC assault rifle and the Trank Burkov. I took out every single kid in the small outpost outside of Eli's little village using the ARC, similarly took out all the guards posted in my path to him with the ARC, and then proceeded to spend the next roughly 5 minutes repeatedly gunning Eli down with the ARC until I knocked him out and also ran out of ammo, but it didn't matter because that's a mission complete. To extract the 2 civvies for close contact, I swapped back to an all-lethal loadout using the 4-star AM-MRS-4, one of the best rifles in the game in my opinion, the AM-MRS-71 rifle to match its freak at long range, and then the non-lethal Burkov, though I didn't imagine I'd be using it here. The AM-MRS-4 is silenced and has an ACOG scope and a 2X scope, so I literally just run straight into the camp, drop the 2 patrolling guards with the ACOG scope, swap to the 2X scope, dropped one of the guards by the tent with the civilians in it to draw the other 2 away, I took out all the other enemies that remained by the tent, and then I saved the civilians and left. Aim True Ye Vengeful was another mission against all kids, so I swapped back to an all non-lethal loadout with the S1000 airsoft shotgun for close range and the Urigan 5 airsoft handgun for medium range and dove right in. Since the Urigan had good range and a hell of a punch, I just sprinted right into the camp and let them all see me so that I could one-shot them all in reflex mode, one of which included the commander. I saved the second in command, used the Urigan to take out all the child soldiers that came into the camp as we were leaving, save another random guy, and then exfil with the XO. To take out the human traffickers in hunting down, I just used my Bambatov SV from earlier, which allows me to basically drop him and his whole convoy no problem. Root Cause usually takes a whopping 5 seconds to complete if you can catch the intel agent before he gets to the truck, so after accidentally giving him the Heihachi Mishima treatment while escaping, I use my AM-MRS-4R to quickly clear a path to him, I save him, and we dip. For the Code Talker mission, the main obstacle is always the sniper skulls, so this was a perfect opportunity for the AM-MRS-71 to shine. Slowly but surely, I kept landing really great shots on the skulls, and with the damage that this thing was dealing, it wasn't long before I had defeated the skulls unit and could move on to the mansion. For the mansion itself, I just used the Wu S333 revolver to punch a hole through any unfortunate soul that happened to be in my way, and then I saved the old Danae, got spotted on my way out, and pretty much just ran away. For Metallic Archaea, I had an absolute blast going all out on a boss battle with a fully lethal loadout. Similarly to when I fought the Armored Skulls here last time, I used the same strategy of countering their attacks with CQC and then dumping my entire mag into them, but this time it's a 40-round mag from an AM-MRS-4SL. Well, I ran out of ammo again, but unlike last time, my handgun, the big old long-barrel Wu 324 revolver, was better equipped to punch through their armor and do good damage. The 4LS did a lot of damage to all of them but didn't take any of them out, but the S324 was able to finish off all of them. It was fun to mag dump them with my Temu machine gun, and cool to be able to finish them off with a friggin' long barrel revolver, but now we're nearing the end of part 1. For Skullface, I was planning to use a mix of assault tactics and stealth to get through OKB-0, so I swapped to the Naked Snake sneaking suit, nabbed the lethal UN ARC, and brought the Brennan LRS-46 and the Wu S362 SB, a loadout I was also expecting to have to use for the Sahelanthropus fight as well. Initially, to draw attention to the front gate, I took out the Sniper Watchman with the LRS-46 and snuck all the way through from the first gate to the second, but at the end, I got spotted and had to drop a couple guards with the S362 SB, but at that point, especially with how loud that revolver is, it was too late. I got a combat alert, so I hid in a dumpster and waited, but even after sneaking through again, I got spotted again not long after, and after holding and defending my position for a while, I had to just sprint for it until I could hide, make it right next to the final gate, and then just make a dead sprint right through. Luckily for me, no, I don't have to just go right into the Sahelanthropus fight without a prior prep sortie. The loadout I decided on was basically the same as the prior one since it was built with this fight in mind, but I bumped up the power of my handgun with the Urigan P5 heavy revolver instead of just using a normal revolver. To start the fight, I used my LRS-46 to blow up the fuel tanks on Sahelanthropus' back, and then I just circled around Saheli and shot him with the Urigan P5 until I ran out of ammo, at which point I just drained his health with the UN ARC and the LRS-46. When he started using his railgun, I just take crack shots at him with the LRS-46 until he comes back down and starts trying to do the whole slow-mo, point-blank railgun insta-kill thing, but I just used my UN ARC to shoot Psycho Mantis when he did. I will say, there was one time right near the end where I was either out of ammo or reloading for all of my guns, so I tried to swap to my Urigan, but it was also reloading. One shell at a time. Luckily, you can fire again without completely reloading, and I barely survived that final last good attempt and defeated the Metal Gear. To know too much is a nice change of pace from the all-out brawls of the last couple of missions. I just use the PT-UNARC and clear out the camp leading up to the CIA agent I'm here to extract. Blow up and die at the last second while extracting because of walker gears, god dang it. And then I exfiltrate further away and complete the mission. For Cursed Legacy next, I knew I'd need some weapons that could reliably punch through armor, so I swapped to the Tux for more disposable deployment GMP and grabbed both the Serval ARM-7 and the Zorn KP grenade launcher handgun. I moved through the mansion area and one or two shot everyone, armor or not, with no care about whether or not I was heard, since anyone that was close enough to hear me was also close enough to pop like a pimple with the AMR-7, and finally, because the jungle was a little too close quarters for a sniper, I busted out the Zorn, blew up all the armored guys and discarded whatever semblance of stealth I had had up to that point, and got the cargo I was here for and exfilled on it. At the bottom of the 9th here, we head back to Afghanistan for Extraordinary. I swapped to the EVA outfit, again my first time ever actually using it, and I use some of my best and strongest anti-infantry weapons at Spug May Keep and absolutely mow everyone down with the ALM-48 or the Slug Urigan 5 for anyone unarmored. After downing a gunship and finishing off the rest of the army sent here, I nabbed the mixtape and headed back home. Now for my least favorite mission of this run, Proxy War Without End. I guess I never realized how resource intensive this mission is, as I tried to just go in with a 3-star Killer B, but by the time I ran out of rockets, I hadn't even taken down 2 tanks. Since I can't resupply, I just restarted from prep and went in with the full 6-star Killer B. Tons of deaths later, I had taken out 2 of the 4 tanks and had 1 damn rocket left. Luckily, the other 2 tanks were parked, and Fultoning them only cost 10k GMP, so I Fultoned them both out without exceeding my support cost, but that doesn't help me much against the final target, a friggin' gunship. After, like, half an hour of trial and error that I just don't want to talk about, I was able to land my rocket on the gunship, call for an attack run from Pequod, and fire on the gunship with a 1-star SVG-76 while it fought Pequod. By the skin of my teeth, I'm able to down it and exfiltrate, completing this awful, awful mission. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, I slap on the tux and use the most inexpensive rifle and pistol I've got so that I can use the mighty CGM-25 for a quiet exit. I ain't messing around this time, not after that last mission. This launcher fires like 6 rockets in a single shot, more than enough to one-shot every single AV I will face on this mission. It also has homing capabilities, which definitely helps here while I'm trying to dodge return fire, but make no mistake, with as good as this launcher is, this final mission was still a massive pain. These tank gun operators are straight up god-tier snipers. They are hitting me directly with rockets several hundred meters away while I'm taking evasive maneuvers. Their rockets are like the dum-dum bullets from Who Framed Roger Rabbit. I hate this mission! In any event, after finishing off the gunship, one of the easiest enemies to beat in this mission, ironically enough, and after an extremely close call right at the very end, I finish off the last tank, get spotted by the reinforcements in a sandstorm for the first time ever because I suck, I save quiet, and I beat MGSV's Jarhead challenge. Thank you all so much for watching, and be sure to subscribe for more MGSV challenge runs. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.